okay, I've started recording the webinar, and if ever you have anything that you want me to take note of, you can raise your hand, and then I'll be able to see that you want to say something. And as well, if you want to further say something, you can also put something on the chat, because the way that we run the webinar is that I want to try to give you more information about the course, about how you access the platform. So I'll be doing much of the talking without interaction with you guys. Okay. All right. So we'll start with sharing. I'm going to share the platform that you guys are going to use for accessing your course material, as well as for your submission of assignments. So the view that you will be seeing will be my view, but I think the navigation is still the same with the student view. For now, I'm going to share the platform, and then I'll just require a person to confirm if you are able to see the platform. I'm just going to the platform. Okay, now I'm sharing our platform, our online platform, where you will get most of your work. Can you see? Are you able to see the platform?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so this is the platform. So for you to access, you need to click here on top where it's written LBLS LSS 2023-1. This is where you will get your course material. And from your end, I guess you only have that tab. So you click on the tab.
So
Yes. Yes, is there anyone with a question?
good afternoon.
Afternoon, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right.
How much did I miss out?
Not much, but I'll request you to then mute so that I can continue. You haven't missed much. We are just starting. We are introducing the platform. So I will request you to mute your laptop, as well as to switch off your video, so that we do not take data from everyone. This is like going to be 2 hours, so like we just want to minimize. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is the platform. So you go to the tab for our course, and then if you can check on the left side, there are various tabs. On the introduction, so you click on the introduction. When you click on it, then it will pop up. When it pops up, it will give you the terms and conditions. And then after that, it will give you an introduction. It's a video, so you can click on the video. You'll be able to watch it. And you should go down and check on the course material. So if you go on the course material, you click here, and then you'll be able to download the manual. So I hope most of you have managed to download the manual, and you have managed to go through the manual, because we are almost like on Monday, we are starting with our assignment 1. Okay. So you'll get the manual. With the manual, it runs with the same topics which are here. So the best would be for you go on the platform. Hello. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, you can mute so that we can hear each other clearly. Okay, so on the course material, so we said we've got a manual, and then besides our manual, we've got our course notes. So our course notes are found here on the various tabs. And we also need to refer to legislation and regulations. So, you know, we are dealing with the Legal Practice Act, and it is also having rules that are pertaining to our legal practitioners. So what you need to do is that you also need to look for the act, and you also need to look for those regulations or the rules, so that you, whatever that is in the course material, you can have reference, because they have a section where they deal with accounting. So you can only reference by going to the legislation and see that the information ties up. But we have tried to summarize and put as much as possible, which is coming from the legislation and as well as the rules. Okay, and then on the platform, we also have animated course material. So on the animated course material, when you go on each section, you will see like that one which is above, which is our introduction. So it's more of like animated, and then it's more of like a video. So when you open it, it briefly gives you a summary of that chapter. And then we've got links to examples, and then we've got links to solutions. Okay, and then from our introduction, so that's our introduction, and then we've got announcements. So if you go to the announcements, what we try to do is to make sure that each time we do an assignment, it also comes to your email. But when you log onto the platform, you will see there's this tab for announcements. So if you can go there, you'll be able to find your links to the webinars. You'll be able to get more information if ever there's anything that is announced. So you need to utilize it. And then we have the calendar. So with the calendar, this one will show you when the facilitator is online, when you are going to start with an assignment, when an assignment is due. So you will get it on the calendar. You can run it calendar by week, or you can run it calendar by month. So if you run it by month, you can see now it's more of like summarized, and then you are able to see what is happening on which particular day, and then you can take note of it. And then when it comes to facilitator being online, so we have more of like set aside an hour, which I then become available, but we communicate using the forum. So the best other way to communicate is during these webinars. If you've got any questions, then you have direct feedback from me. Otherwise, when I'm online, we communicate through the forum. I'll show you the forum. And you post your questions, then I'm able to. We have also done is that we leave the particular day, like every Monday of our post day between 11 and 12. But every Monday, I will always make sure that I check on anything, any queries, anything that you would have posted. And also here and there, I get into the platform and check the forum if ever there are any questions, because sometimes you would find a week is too much for me to wait. Okay, so that is our calendar. You can run it by month, or you can even go by list of events. So with the list of events, it's a matter of you specifying the date. So our course is running from the 16th of January up to the 17th of March. So you can go through, change your date to the 17th of March, then you'll be able to see all the activities that are happening, all the things that we need to do. So this is more of like our calendar. So you can actually be able to print it so that you know what is happening, you know when to come in and ask. Okay, and then our resources, the platform will give the various resources that you can open, and then from those resources, you'll be able to, you know, empower yourselves when it comes to preparation for assignments, and as well as just the general understanding of the course. And then we move to assignments. So assignments, we have three assignments, and we actually have one test. So with the assignments, they are scheduled. You can see the assignments are scheduled on our calendar. So, and also when an assignment opens, it more of like notifies you that an assignment is opened. We keep them closed and then they open for a particular time. As you can see, we've got an open date and then we've got a due date. With our assignments, from your end, if you can look at the platform, you should be able to submit. Once you are done with an assignment, you should be able to submit an assignment. And also, you should be able to download an assignment. But what we also do is that we make sure that on the announcement, we also attach the question so that you can easily access it. But if ever you happen to have problems in accessing the assignment, then you should let us know. You should let me know or let Grace know so that we can quickly give you the assignment before the closing date. Okay, so our assignments are marked out of 100. I'll go to the slide and explain further on the assignments so that you could understand how we then will go about our assignments. So the major critical, like the hard assignment, is our assignment 2. Assignment 2 is difficult a bit because it introduces most of the law bookkeeping. So it's more of like legal bookkeeping principles. They are introduced in assignment 2. So if you can check, I have opened it for 14 days so that I give you time to attend to assignment 2, and then assignment 3, then it's a bit shorter, and assignment 1, they are shorter. And then test one will be uploaded not on this platform, but it is going to be uploaded under tests. So the opening date will be announced to you. It's open for some time. It's open for, I think, almost a month. And it's a multiple choice, kind of like a test. You are given, and then you are given an hour to attempt it. So once you want to attempt it, then one has to be ready, and then you start working on it, because you will have an hour. If you do not finish within that hour, then it would mean you are submitting uncompleted work. And if you open it, you being unready, then you'd find it will take it that you wanted to attempt it. So it won't give you another opportunity to do it. And then test 1 is more of like the same topics as assignment 1, from chapter 1 to about chapter 6. So it's very easy to do test 1, and it's a multiple choice, so the time is ample for it. Okay, and then from there, then we've got the different tabs, like the basic control principles. Like if you can check in our manual, this is how our manual is structured. So if ever you click and you go to our manual, you'll be able to read what are our outcomes on a particular topic are, and then you are given a brief introduction, and then the course material, there's a animated video, and then you can attempt. Some of them, they've got activities, so you go through. I'm not going to explain each one of them. Okay, and then our tests and quizzes. Tests and quizzes, that's where you will find test 1. Okay, so in this case,
sorry, Grace. Can we ask questions now, or will you wait, or should we wait until the end?
If you've got questions pertaining to this, we can ask.
Yeah, okay. Natanya's hand has been up for a while, and then my hand is up after.
Okay. Sorry. When I'm sharing, I'm out of Teams, so I can't see when hands are up. So maybe what I can do is that let me finish sharing this one, come back, and then attend to your questions. Then we can move on to the slide.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yes, I can't see when I'm on this platform.
No problem.
Okay, and then when it comes to test one, so on our test and quizzes, that's where you will find your test one, and it shows the opening, that it will open on 6 Feb, and then it will close on 3 March. So like what I've said to you, you should be within that time. You should look for an hour that you'll be free to attempt your question. And then the other tests and quizzes are just for practice, for you to practice, for you to understand the topics. So this view that you are seeing, it's my view. So I've got powers to edit and everything, but from your end as a student, I don't think you'll be able to see all this, but it's more of like the same. You will get, and you on action, you'll be able to complete the quizzes, and then just for you to get more info on the topics and to attempt questions and to have a thorough understanding. So I encourage you guys to create time even over the weekend when you are free, and then you go through so that you gather more info and you learn a lot. You know, the thing is that we need to learn, we need to practice, and then yeah, the course would be beneficial. Okay, and then the grade book will show you after you have completed any quiz or any assignment, we will upload the marks. So we upload the marks on the system, and then the grade book will show you those various marks, how you are doing. So if you go on your grade book and you can't see your marks, then especially the marks for the assignments and test one, those are the crucial ones, because those are the ones that determine your final pass mark. Okay, and then the forum, this is our forum. Okay, so with our forum, it gives us an opportunity to communicate. So this is the platform that we use to communicate. And also on the forum, I'm able to post some notes. Say, for instance, if you say, can you add some more notes, I add them on the forum. And also on certain topics, I have created some notes that I just post on the forum, just for you to go through, just summarized notes, so that when you go through them, then you can relate to the manual as well as the assignments that we'll be attempting. So with the forum, you can create a topic, you can message, once you message, everyone can read. So the advantage of the forum is that if one person posts something and I respond, it benefits everyone. And then also sometimes you'd find, sometimes I can be slow in accessing the platform, but another student goes on the platform, sees your question. If ever they have information on what you're asking, they will respond to you. And after responding, then it's beneficial to everyone. So that's our forum. So we more of like discourage the use of emails, because the use of emails, the challenge is that you are sending an email to me only and everyone else is not benefiting. And then statistics, we do not utilize the statistics. And tickets. Okay, tickets is also another way of communicating. So this is another way of communicating. So you can send in a ticket, and then once from my end, I check the ticket, I'll be able to respond to you on the ticket. Okay, like in this case, we've got someone who sent in the ticket, so we are going to respond to her. And the question is, I would like to find out whether the test and quizzes may be done more than once for self-testing. Okay, so test and quizzes, I'm not so sure, because these were created a long time ago. So from my end, I'm not able to attempt them, but I guess you can be able to do them several times. The only thing that you are not able to do several times is your test one, because test one is linked to your grade book and to your final mark. Okay. And I think the webinars are loaded here at the bottom. You should check for the webinars if you want to run the webinars. I think they load them here at the bottom. You can see there's webinar 3, That was for the last course. Webinar 1, that was for the last. So you can go there and view. So this is our platform. I'm going to come out of the platform and answer your questions. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, I have stopped sharing, so I can answer questions now before we can move on to the next item. I see Vuyoka. Your hand is up.
Vuyokazi, yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I've been using the platform, and I'll just like to find out, because on the animated videos, there is a YouTube icon on the bottom right. Do we need a certain type of subscription to YouTube, or do these play right up to the end? Because I've had a feeling as if the video stops midway or just after 22 seconds, others. So, and then it brings some YouTube adverts or some YouTube pictures of music, and I can't play the video anymore. Hence, I'm asking, is there any further subscription that one needs to do on YouTube, or are these sufficient as they are? Or maybe my computer is a bit corrupted, that in the middle of a course content, it will just bring some music that I'm not even interested in. And then my second question, so that then before I allow other people, is that the tutor online, is it set there at 11, or would it move to a bit of afternoonish, like your 3 or 4? Because I think most of us are working, and at about 11, we're not normally available for other stuff other than work stuff. That's all from me.
Okay, so let me attend to your questions. Yeah, when it comes to the videos, I don't think you need any subscription. There shouldn't be any subscription that you do require. You should be able to play. What I will do is that I'll also try to play one and see, and probably on the forum, I'll be able to update you on the forum to say, is it an issue with you only, or it's an issue with even me from my end? Because I have not played them for quite some time. So I'll just need to check for you. But there shouldn't be any subscription required, because it's they've done their platform from YouTube just to play the video, but no subscription is required by the students. Okay, and then the facilitator being available between 11 and 12, like what I've said to you, it's not a live, like a webinar now that we are having an interaction. So the idea is just for the facilitator to log in and then to check if there are any queries and respond to all the queries. And if ever someone has got an immediate query, like what I've said, I've more of like set up the whole day from 11 up to the end of the day, and then some other days as well, just to check if you have posted anything on the forum. So it's not like there's a live interaction that would be happening like a webinar where you will miss out anything. So you can visit the forum anytime, any day, and post your questions, and then we'll attend to it because it's not live.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Patrick, may you mute?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Is these fingers of mine? Sorry.
Okay, and then any Natanya? Do you have any other questions? I think Natanya's hand is up, but let's proceed.
No, sorry. I thought I unmuted. I didn't, sorry. Okay, so on my platform, there is no resources tab.
There's
don't
no
know if
resources.
I don't know if anybody else has the same issue. My platform is introduction, announcements, calendar, assignments, and then the course material tabs.
Okay. And then with the other guys, have you checked your platform? Are you having resources there? So that I can check with Grace, because for me that is a bit on the technical. So I'm not so sure, like from your end, what is it that you view? Because I view the side of a facilitator. Yes, Patrick.
Thank you, Emma. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I sent a message there. When I was going through also my platform there, I'm battling to see which book are we using, because when I was reading, going through the exercises, it says chapter 5, chapter 5.5, 5.6. Which book are we utilizing?
Okay, so when I was going through the platform, let me share again. I'll go through the charts and respond as well. So when we go through the our platform, I think I'm sharing a wrong platform. I'll move out of it. I'm trying to access the platform again so that I can show you, like on the introduction. On the introduction, that's where you get the manual. That's where you are able to download the manual. I don't know if you saw that. Okay, I'm back on the platform. So if you come to the introduction, I hope you can see it. This is the introduction, and I hope you have a tab for the introduction. And then on the course material, it says, please click here to download the manual. So you need to click there. If you click, there's going to be a manual, which is like an 80-something page book that is available, that you'll be able to then reference to the various sections. Okay, Patrick, where you answered, did you see that?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say thanks.
Okay.
Can I ask my other questions, please?
Yes.
Okay, so on the forum, where do we start a conversation? If you go into your screen, if you share your screen again, you've got different tabs. I only have a tab that says view full description, and then it's all your notes.
Yeah, you can just post on any. I'll be able to view, like even on the welcome note, you can go and start a conversation, send me a message, because the way that I created them is that when you respond or post anything underneath those tabs, I'll be able to read and respond, and you'll be able to read and respond.
I'm sorry,
Because
I can't even see. Oh, sorry about that. I'll see that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And then my last question was the test and quizzes. How do we get the answers? I can see where we get the answers, but I can't see where we get to see which ones are correct and which ones are incorrect.
Okay, test and quizzes, I'll have to ask Grace on the answers. Okay. Because from my end, it does not give me the same view like yours. So I can't even attempt them because I'm more of like on the facilitator side. So she should be able to tell me if you'll be able to see, but I think you should be able to see which one was wrong, but I will ask her so that she can give me a response, and then I'll post it on the forum for you.
please. Thank you.
Can I interject here?
Yes.
I've tried some quizzes, and there's normally a link that that if you click on, it will give you the answers to those questions that have been asked. I don't know if you're asking the same thing, Natanya.
I don't know, because when I go into that link that you're talking about, it says at the bottom, it says feedback. So if you click on the feedback button, it gives you the questions again, but nothing's completed. So nothing's filled in. Your answers aren't there.
Okay, maybe you've got a technical glitch, but I've had my answers with the questions. When I click that link wanting to check the correctness of my questions, of my answers.
And could you see which ones you had right and which ones you had wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, mine doesn't do that. Mine gives all the questions blank again.
Oh, okay. No, that's a problem.
Okay, thank you. Will you speak to Grace, or must we contact Grace? No?
Yeah, I'll speak to her, but as well, you can as well send an email. Yeah, I was going to also tell you guys to say for any technical issues, we need to contact Grace, because some of those issues then become technical for me, because the platform, I'm given certain access and maintenance access, and then some of them it's Grace who can then fix everything.
No problem. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Natanya. Any other questions, or we can move on? Okay, I see. Yes. Hello.
I keep on coming in and out of this. So my question is that will we have access to this class recordings? Because sometimes, like I was out for about. So what we need to do is if we missed out on it, because the connection, sometimes we can hear, like I did send the message that I can't hear you, then I was off the line. So I had to come back, and then the network is better, and then I had to like move where I am and that. So in order for us not to miss out on this or whatever information that is very crucial on this, so can we have maybe on the site, I don't know how you do it, in order so that we can follow up on this, because I can see some are in like I don't know whether I'm the only one that miss out, and then sometimes you cut off, sometimes we can't hear you completely. Like I've been sending message that maybe I'm muted, I can't hear you, so I don't know how, so that we don't miss out on this.
Okay, yeah. All right, Vusi, yes, like what I've shown others, Grace will put in the webinar. She's going to put in the webinar, I think on the platform or on Teams, so that you will be able to go through it. She does that after, I think, a day or two. She goes through them, and then yeah, she'll put it on for you guys, because I know like currently some people are affected by load shedding, and yeah, so definitely they will put it up for you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, yes. All right, so I think now we can proceed with the course. I'll go on and share. So like what I've said to you, when I'm sharing, I can't hear you. I can't see the charts. I can't see raised hands. But what I will do is that whenever you feel like you have something to interject, then you should then let me know, because you'll be able to say something. Everyone will be able to hear you, so that then we can hear what you are saying and take it from there. Lufono, you raised your hand.
Thank you. I thought you said you were going to read the chat. So, okay, I was just asking in terms of the test one, you were saying that if you don't finish, then that's it. So I was checking if, does that mean a fail, or is there a rewrite? I was not so sure what it means.
Okay, with test one, once you submit, unless if it's technical, once you go through it, you do not finish, you submit without finishing or anything, then that's it. You are given an hour. So if it's anything technical, or probably because of load shedding or something, then you need to talk to Grace, so that because from your end, you will not be able to access it again. So that she can then get into the system for her to be able to check what was the problem, and then she'll be able to help you.
Okay, what I'm asking you is that, does that mean I have to repeat this whole module, this whole class, accounting management?
No, because of test one, no, not really. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share, like give you more information on the tests and the assignments, so that you understand how we then get to the final mark. So it's not like if you miss one assignment, you should drop totally, because we average all the marks from the test and the assignments. And then the average that we get, like test one contributes 20%. And then the other 3 assignments, they contribute 80%. So say, for instance, if you attempt 2 assignments and you did so well, you'd find you might pass. But say, for instance, you attempt 1, and then for you to average on 1, then it becomes a problem, you see. So you shouldn't give up because you have missed a test or you have missed an assignment, because we more of like take all the assignments, we average them together. But I'm going to show you on the platform how we, on the presentation, how we more of like do it. Okay, so let's move on. 2 hours is very short for this course. I'm going to share our presentation. Yeah, hopefully you can see. So our course is called Accounts Management course, and then this is our first intake for 2023. Like what I've said, my name is Faustina.
No presentation shows.
Hello?
There was just a delay with the presentation, but it's showing now.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, so our course is called Accounts Management course. So it's just a name which was given, but it's just legal bookkeeping. So it's our bookkeeping, normal bookkeeping that we're doing at school. So our first 6 chapters, they give us the general bookkeeping that we're doing at school. And then from there, from chapter 7 up to about, I think, chapter 12, then we are introduced to legal concepts. And we then are trying to answer questions which we are given a legal scenario, then we take it into bookkeeping, into accounting, so that we are able to account, we are able to record our books. So this is what basically our course is all about, bookkeeping. It's bookkeeping with a touch of legal issues that we bring in. I have introduced myself, and then I've told you, for questions, please ask questions on the forum, because if you wait for the webinars, I think we've got 3 webinars and we've got 2 hours. 2 hours is not enough for our course. You will see in the next webinar that we might even need to run another webinar so that we more of like cover all the topics, the legal topics. And then any admin issues, any technical issues that you might be having a challenge with encountering, you need to please address them to Grace. So you send in an email to Grace and she'll be able to answer you. And then some of the queries, she then refers them to me. Then I'm able to come back to you and answer. And then our general matters, we've gone through the platform. I've introduced you to the calendar and also told you that I'm available weekly. It's not face-to-face. You can leave your messages on the forum. On that particular day, I am forced to check and answer. Like the way that the course is structured, I have to log in and make sure on that day I answer everything, but I'll also answer another day. And then I've shown you where you get your announcements, and then I've shown you where you get your manual. So this is crucial. Please download the manual and go through it. And also, I've told you that we need to to have our Legal Practice Act and our rules, and then you need to go through those and reference them to the manual, because those are accurate. They say what the profession is saying, you see. So if ever a manual misses anything, then the Act will tell you as is. So the manual more of like tries to interpret what the Act says, what the rules say, to make it easier for you guys. But I think you can start from there and go to the manual. Okay, and then we have test one. Test one, I've explained to you. It opens, we are given dates that it opens, and our test one contributes 20% of our final mark, which means no matter what, try to attempt it, try to do it. And as you can see, you are given close to about a month to attempt it. So you can choose a time when you are free, like even on a Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon, or the time that you feel like you don't have any stress, nothing, or you can attempt it after doing assignment 1. So you go through your manual, chapters 1 to 6, you do your assignment 1, then you can go on to your test 1 and you can attempt it. You would find it will be easier for you because it's the same concept. Okay, and then we have 3 assignments. We've got assignment 1, 2, and 3. So the 3 assignments averaged together, they contribute 80%, which means if you get 15%, 80%, 90%, we add up the 3 and then we divide that by 300 multiplied by 80%. We more of like averaging them to 80%. And then we add the mark of test 1 to give us the final mark. Okay, if you want the formula again, I can always post it on the forum, but you should always know that we look at the 3 assignments. So if you get 0 on the other one or you do not submit it, so we'll still add it. So it will pull your marks down, you see. So our pass mark is 50%, 50 and above. 50 and above, you get your certificates and then they will announce that you have passed the course. And it's based on test 1 and the 3 assignments. Okay, and then for this course, you would find you need to plan your time. You need to check the calendar, make sure that you plan accordingly. I think it has got ample of time. You can quickly attend, and then like after hours or lunchtime, you can read a chapter. And whenever you see that you've got challenges or you have got queries, then you come to the platform, you post so that when I come across it, then I answer you. Or if you want an example, a further example, or how a certain answer was arrived at, you post on the forum, then I'll be able to go to the manual, check how they calculated, and also answer you on the forum. Okay, so I encourage you to be active on the forum. You being active on the forum would mean the other students are benefiting. Whenever they go there, they see our interaction. So I encourage you, because it will keep the course going. It will show that we are alive. And never give up, because you can ask. The good thing is that when you ask, especially on the forum, the other students will also help you. They'll be able to tell you, oh, I had this challenge, or there was a technical error, and then this is what I have done. So always visit the forum and check what is happening. Okay. And then our assignments. So I said our assignments contribute 80%, and they are more of like practical in nature. We give you questions, you have to answer them. And you know, with accounting, we then have to practice more by doing the T accounts, that is doing the cash books and the ledgers. So you will need to practice more, you will need to put effort in doing that, because that will make you understand accounting. And our assignment 1 will cover chapters from 1 up to chapter 7. And then assignment 1 has got a little bit of theory, just for us to see if you have understood. And the other part, it's a cash book. So one has to be able to record in a cash book. So our assignment 1 has got theory and then recording in a cash book. And also I think it has got a bank reconciliation. So you'll be introduced to the cash book and the bank reconciliation. So our manual covers these things thoroughly. They cover the things thoroughly. And what I'm going to do with you today is that I'll also try to show you how to record transactions in a cash book, and as well as try to just also show you the double entry. I guess you understand what is double entry. And then our assignment 2 covers chapters 8 to 13. Assignment 2 is the one that covers the legal part of things. It introduces the legal concept, like your conveyancing. It is introducing your correspondence, and also it introduces VAT. So when I look at chapter 2, our assignment 2, it's a bit complex, it's a bit involving. So it will need a bit of some time. So this time when I structured it, I decided to give you more time, more ample time, so that you can go through it even over weekends and work on it. So your class is very lucky, because I normally would give 10 days, but this time I just felt like we need more time. But because of the webinars that we'll be doing, you also find it doable. It's easy to do it. And then assignment 3 covers all the chapters. So it's also practical and more of like what we do in assignment 3. It's just simple revision. It's more of like revision on the chapters, but set up the questions in a different kind of like format. Like you are given a firm, and then in a given firm, you are given various transactions, and then you need to integrate everything into our accounting records. But it's one of the easiest ones. We try to make it easier to cover up for assignment 2. And then whenever you need help, you need to ask, so that we illustrate more. But I know with the introduction of these webinars from last year, you would find most students benefited from there. Okay, I will go to the introduction. You saw on our platform, we've got an introduction, and I have told you what the introduction has got. That is, you'll find the manual, and also it will introduce you to the trust and business accounts. It will explain to you the differences between a trust account and a business account, and why it is very important for us to know the differences. As you know, the Act and the rules, they don't want us to mix. We can't mix trust transactions and business transactions, because our trust transactions, they relate to our clients, and we are keeping money in trust. Our firms are keeping money in trust. Our legal practices are keeping money in trust. So that money cannot be mixed together with the business money. So there should be separation, and there should be an indication that the rules are followed. And when money is transferred from trust to business, there should be reasons for one to do that. There should be accounting records that are recorded for money to move between the two accounts. And the money shouldn't mix. One should not keep business money in trust, or trust money in business. So it is our duty as accounting or finance staff or accounting staff, as bookkeepers, to make sure that our firms are adhering to the rules. Because you would find, if you check the legal fraternity, it's one that it's very strict. I have worked at the Legal Practice Council when it was called the Law Society. I used to go for investigations, and you would find, would check if the accounting records are separated, if trust money is kept in trust and is being accounted for according to the rules, according to the Act. So you should ensure that you then help your practices to ensure that there is a distinction between the two. Okay, and then the basic control principles, you will go through your manual, you will be able to go through. So these control principles, we are looking at our rules pertaining to accounting, to trust bookkeeping, to our business bookkeeping. So that's where you'll get the various rules. And then these rules, they link with our Act, they link with our rules that are issued by the body that we fall under. So you need to check the rules, you need to understand them, you need to also educate your principals, you need to educate your bosses on these rules whenever you see that they are doing certain things which are outside. And also, just for those who are like advocates here or those who are attorneys here, these rules will really help you because you find you rarely come across them. People rarely teach you about the rules, but they do exist. And the Fidelity Fund and the Legal Practice Council, they utilize them so much. They kind of like know them off their heads, like the disciplinary committee, they know them and they apply them. So you need to also read and know them. Okay, and then you'll be introduced to the trust account and then the sections of the Act that takes you through, which stipulates who needs to have a trust account and which sections is it referenced to. So you will get all that under the basic control principles. I'm not going to cover in detail because I want to do illustrate an example where we do the cash book. But if ever you feel you need more explanations pertaining to these, then you should let me know. And then at the end, then I can explain, give a little bit of explanation. Okay, so our trust account, it's if you can go to section 86.2 of the Act, it will explain the trust account. And then you should also note that one can open, a practice can open investment accounts to invest money which was first put into trust on behalf of clients. So with section 86.3, a firm can just on its own discretion invest money. That is, they look at the trust account balance. If they feel like, oh, it's too huge, this money is not needed immediately, I don't have instructions from clients, then they take that money, they can open a section 86.3 and then they invest that money. So it's more of like a current account, but when you go to the bank, then you have to specify that I need a section 86.3. It has to be written section 86.3. The only disadvantage with the section 86.3 and the section 86.2 is that all the interest that is earned goes to the fund. So you need to also advise your clients if ever you see that the client is not aware and it will give you problems in the future, to advise them to say, oh, okay, we have your money, but we can invest it to your advantage, to your benefit, whilst the funds are actually protected by the Fidelity Fund. They are protected by the fund. So you can advise them to then give you instructions so that you open section 86.4 investment accounts. So with these ones, you will need money should be in trust. There should be an underlying transaction, and then client instructs, and the attorney or the legal practitioner should have control. The legal practitioner should have control of the money, which is in a section 86.4. And the thing is that 5% of the interest, usually banks automatically pay it over to the fund. So what happens is that the moment you go to the bank and you say, I want to open a section 86.4, they then automatically know that within 86.4, 5% of the interest goes to the fund. Or what you can do is that just make sure you instruct the bank to sweep the 5% so that when it comes to your reporting duties, you know the money is paid already and you do not have issues when it comes to year-end reporting because the money has been paid. Okay, and then under basic controls, you see there are other statutory requirements that a practice should register for. Other requirements like your UIF. The moment a practice has got employees who are permanent, working more than 24 hours, then they need to register for UIF. Once those employees exceed a certain threshold in terms of their income, practices to register for pay-as-you-earn. And the practice, especially with the law firms, were allowed to create companies. A company will have a director. So you find for the directors, then they have to have salaries. They do not draw money, but they have salaries. So as long as the salary is above the threshold, then you should always ensure that the practice registers for pay-as-you-earn. And then we've got like the requirements for FICA. So you need to read on that. FICA, every practice has to register for FICA. So upon inception, when they register with the LPC, they are asked to register with FICA. A practice has to understand what the requirements for FICA are so that whenever they are supposed to report, because it is the discretion of the practice to report certain transactions, like if a person deposits more than 25,000, one is to report in cash, one is to report to FIC to say, okay, this client deposited cash or brought cash into the practice. And also every client needs to be FICA'd so that you understand your clients, their sources of income. And you would find here and there, the banks also FICA us as clients. So you find they also check transactions that happen in your books, your business books, as well as your trust. And here and there they report, they don't tell you, they will report you to FICA. So if you do not know your transactions at the end of the day, then you will find yourself, you are reported at FICA. And then with FICA, usually they then instruct or they ask the LPC to investigate your practice. So you wouldn't want that to happen. So you should always ensure that you comply with FICA, read the manuals, there are manuals on FICA. Okay, and then the other thing is VAT. It's a statutory requirement. As long as the firm exceeds 1 million, then it has to register for VAT. 1 million in terms of fees that are due to the firm. In a given 12 months period, exceed 1 million, register for VAT. And if a firm does more than, or a practice does more than 50,000, they can as well voluntarily register for VAT. So it's at their discretion. And then the other statutory requirements would be your labor, registering with labor in terms of compensation for workers. So that one is an annual requirement and returns are supposed to be submitted. So yeah, and then you can check any other ones that I could have left, but those are the major requirements that one has to ensure that they are registered for. Okay, like what I've said, our course is on bookkeeping. I think what we can do is that we'll take a break. Let's take a break at 5:10. We take a break and then we take a break for 10 minutes. So we'll come back at 20 past and we open up. During that time, myself, I'll open up for those ones who want to ask questions to do with our course or with anything. I'll be available and then I'll answer any questions or anything to do with what I've said so far. Then we continue at 5:20. So for now, I'll introduce you to bookkeeping. Okay, so the introduction to bookkeeping, you will see it in our manual. It's there. It's very important. You are supposed to understand why we have to do this course, as well as why we have to record the book in our books. So you also need to understand what is the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. Forgive my spelling there for bookkeeping. The difference between bookkeeping is merely recording of transactions. So if you record your transactions from the source documents to the cash books and to the ledgers, then we say you are doing your bookkeeping. And accounting, if you look at accounting, now you look at drawing information, reports from that bookkeeping, and you report to a third party or you report to yourself, then we then start calling it accounting. So accounting, we are looking at a position where we then get financial statements, we get ratios from the same information that we would have recorded. Because with recording, we get to a point where we can pull a trial balance. And then from a trial balance, then we then prepare our financial statements. And then those financial statements are needed at SARS, they are needed at the banks for them to make their informed decisions. So those are the two differences between bookkeeping and accounting. And you need to also have a look at why bookkeeping is important to us. We've got 5 reasons why it is important. Why? Because with bookkeeping, once we record our transactions and we completely record them, we'll be able to tell the financial position of the company. We'll be able to tell the available assets, what are the assets of the company, what are the debtors of the company, the creditors of the company, who are we owing, and we'll be able to tell the available cash from there and what have we done with the cash. And we'll be able to then also report and keep records as required by the LPC. So bookkeeping is very important, especially when it comes to profit and loss. It will tell us the profit that the business has made. Is it necessary? Is it okay for the business to continue, or the business should close shop because it's not making money? Because remember, money or cash flow is more of like the bloodstream of the business. So bookkeeping is very crucial because it will teach us that. So if you can have a look at the accounting equation, I'm going to enlarge it a bit. I don't know if you'll see it. So the accounting equation, you'll find when we run a business, we are there to generate assets. So we generate assets. And out of those assets, we are supposed to take out any liabilities. Anything that we owe another person is not ours. So our assets less anything that we owe, then we can see what is left for the owner. So it's called owner's equity. So owner's equity is equals to assets minus liabilities. Assets minus liabilities. So we'll get our owner's equity. So at the end of the day, we run a business so that we can make a profit, you see? And out of that profit, we share it with the government. That's why we pay tax. They want a percentage of the profit. So bookkeeping is very, very crucial. And also on the introduction to bookkeeping, you will look at the principle of debits and credits, and we call it the double entry system. So the double entry system is that the idea is that whatever one account, like our cash account, when it's receiving money, we debit it, because when we create our cash books, the debit side, which is the receipt side, we are debiting it. And then we have to affect another account for us to be able to balance. So you need to understand the principle of double entry. Each and every transaction should have a double entry. And also you need to have a look at the accounting cycle. The accounting cycle, it explains how we capture our records from the source documents into the initial books, and then from there into our ledgers, and then from there into our trial balance, and then we come up with we come up with our financial statements. So you can go through that in the manual and then you'll be able to understand. If ever you do not understand, then we can more of like discuss. And then also in accounting, we've got what we call financial periods or financial years. Accounting or bookkeeping is based on a 12-month cycle. So even at SARS, even at banks, they utilize what we call a 12-month cycle. So for individuals who are running their practices, the cycle will always be from March of each year, from the 1st of March to the 28th of February. That is the cycle, that is the official cycle here in South Africa. So for any individual, even for your own tax reporting, anything that happens between March and February, or if you start something in between, you record, you just have to stop end of February, you prepare your books, then you can report to the taxman, you can report to the LPC, you can report, you see. And then when it comes to companies, if we registered in Inc., an incorporated company with the CIPC, with the company registrar, you would find the owner of the company who registered will stipulate, they will stipulate the year end. So they will say our year end is March. So if the year end is March, which means our accounting cycle then starts on 1 April to 31 March. If they say the year end is June, then you find our accounting cycle starts from the 1st of July to the next June, 30th of June. So that those are our accounting periods, our what we call financial years. So it's only for companies. Companies are the ones that are able to determine their own financial years. But for individuals, it's given. It's March to February. Okay, and also you'll be introduced to trust audits, which are conducted every year, and these are required by the LPC. Okay, so we'll take our break. It's now 10 past 5. I'm going to unshare so that I'll be able to see if anyone has got queries. And for those who want to take a break, go to the bathroom, they can do that. Thank you very much. Vuyoka, yes, you may proceed.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm the only course material is the manual that we downloaded and the act.
Yes, the only course material. Is there anything
else we need to supplement?
No, not really. The course, the manual and the act and the platform should be enough. And the platform should be enough.
Then secondly, does it matter if I fail the course? Or because for me, the goal is to write the board exam so that I can be a trust account advocate. So whether I fail or not, does it really matter? Because what I believe that the certificate will not allow me to be a trust account advocate, but it will, I need to pass the board exams mainly. And then also, would this be, I know you don't teach the what's asked on the board exam, but would it enable me to write confidently?
Oh, okay. When it comes to our course, you know, it's mainly aimed at support staff, but it covers all the topics. So it will definitely help you with the board exams because the concept, they are more of like the same. So you find some of the questions that we are giving you guys, we are also kind of like borrowing them from the board questions that we come across. So you like, if you do not pass the course, your main aim would be for you to at least learn and apply whatever that you get here to the board. And I know It's almost the same. It's almost the same. Yeah, and then when it comes to the course material, it's it's basically the manual. It's it covers everything, like from basic bookkeeping, which you more of like need your bank reconciliations, which you will find in your board exams, and which we will also find in your PMT, because there is also practice management. And with practice management, they are also doing bookkeeping. They are doing, they call it legal business, LBF, legal business something, which is basically the same as this bookkeeping. So it will be very beneficial to you. It will be very beneficial. You shouldn't worry about passing if you do not submit your assignments, as long as you are reading the manual, you are doing the examples. Yeah. You will pass.
Okay.
You will
Thank
benefit.
you. All right.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Lufuno, sorry, I can only see now that you wanted to make the presentation full screen. I think I was on a full screen, but I didn't see that. I'll try to make it full screen next time. But I thought I was on a full screen. Yes. Otherwise, let's take a break, and then at 20 past we can continue.
Sorry, can I ask a question, please?
Yes, you can ask.
I just wanted to find out, did you by any chance specify which chapters the first assignment is going to be based on?
Yes, I did. Assignment 1, we are looking at chapters 1 to 7.
Okay. Sorry, I was in a meeting, so I joined a bit late.
Oh, okay, no, it's fine. So we are looking at chapters 1 to 7.
Okay.
So it's your introduction, it's your control, your rules. You need to know a bit of your rules, your statutory requirements, and then we go into the cash books, because we'll need to come up with a cash book, and also we'll need to reconcile the cash book to a bank account. So all that you will find it in your chapters 1 to 7.
7.
Yes.
Okay, you haven't discussed for the second and third assignment yet?
I haven't discussed
the contents for the second and third assignments.
No, I haven't discussed the contents.
Okay.
Of the second assignment, like what I've said, it's your chapter, it's like the remaining chapters, your chapter 8 to 13.
Okay.
Which covers legal principles, and you would find we're going to have a webinar. I have structured 2 webinars for it, because assignment 3 is just revision. It's simple, it's toned down, so it's kind of like revision. So assignment 2, I've structured 2 webinars where we'll do practical questions, so that you guys will be able to answer it, because it's a bit on the complex side.
Oh, okay. And with the test, so the exam that's on the 3rd of March, how long do we have to complete that?
3rd of March. Is there an exam which is recorded? Because we have 3 assignments. We've got 3 assignments. So we've got assignment 1, assignment 2, and assignment 3. And then the other thing that we have, we've got a test, which we normally just call test 1. You see? So it's just those 4. We do not have an exam.
Oh, okay. But in terms of test 1, I'm referring to test 1 as well. Do we have the whole of Friday to do it, or is it a limited amount of time?
It's a limited amount of time. It's actually what happens with test 1. It opens on the 6th of February, like it's available. It becomes available on the 6th of Feb until the 3rd of March. So you should choose your 1 hour or your time, and then you are given 1 hour to attempt it, because it's multiple choice.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So select your answers in an hour. I think you should be able to finish it in 20 minutes, but you are given an hour to then probably work out. It has got a few workings that one has to do, and then do your selections. And then when you submit, you can write it. You can't go back and recall it or answer it again.
Oh, okay. So it closes at 11:55 on the day.
I think so. I didn't check the time that it closes, because I always assume you guys, they've got a month to do it. You should do it before then. It's unlike the assignments. The assignments, we always feel like assignments, they are too involving. You see, because if you attempt it, you find you can get a day, you attempt it, you leave it. You get another time, you attempt, you leave it, or you think, I made a mistake there, you go back. So what we have just tried to do is to open, like for you to submit, you can submit several times.
Okay.
Like, yes, you can go and remove the one and submit again, remove, but then we make sure 11:55 on a particular day, you should have submitted.
That's for the assignments. You're referring to the assignments.
To the assignments, yes.
Oh, I thought for the assignments we only have those days, the 5 days to complete it and submit. I didn't know that we can retry them.
Like within those 5 days, you can, if you submit and you feel like you made a mistake, you can go and remove it and then you submit, or you can go and submit a new, which supersedes the one that you would have submitted.
Oh, okay. But the marks are readily available.
The marks will be available after marking.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, so we won't know if we've passed the assignment or not, obviously.
No, not beforehand, because I won't start marking until everyone is submitted.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it's only the ones that are online now that we can attempt, the ones that give you the marks immediately that you can do over and over and over.
Yes, so those ones are for practice sake.
Yes,
so
those
you're just practicing. And then when it comes to the assignments, it's like real business. We are now testing you to see, you see. So once you have done your assignment, you get your mark, and then that's your final mark for the assignment.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And then the other thing is that if ever you have any technical issues, like during submission, or you are to attend a funeral, or so you need to just notify Grace, so that by the time that we are marking, because we also need to get like 3-4 days marking.
Okay.
Yeah, so the time that we are marking, at least that we can be given an opportunity to consider your assignment.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you. So I hope everyone is back, and we can mute and we can continue with our presentation. I hope you can all see. Let me minimize this. So this is the kind of like the full screen. I'm on a full screen of the presentation, so I hope you can see. Okay, so I think we have discussed the trust and business principles. I didn't cover everything, and I'm not going to more of like cover everything, but you need to understand what is trust money, what is business money, and you should be able to identify which one is a trust transaction, which one is a business transaction. For our assignments, what we have tried to do is that we have tried to separate trust and business transactions. But what you need to know is that they relate when it comes to fees. Because the idea of us sometimes to have money in trust, it's for the practice to collect its fees in advance. That is the advantage of this practice. They can ask for deposits, and those deposits are put in the trust account to cover future liability towards the firm's fees. So when the money is put in the trust account, the practice need to raise invoices, it needs to raise statement of accounts, account to the client, inform the client. When we say you are supposed to account or to produce a statement of account, you inform the client to say, this is how much work we have done. We've got so much of yours in the trust account. So can we be authorized to transfer money into business for our fees? And then once you get that authorization from the client and you have raised your invoice in the business side, then you are able to transfer money into your business account. So that is the relationship. So you'd find in our questions, we'll have relationships which are like that. Relationships which are like that, where we always need to move money from trust to business. And then in our case, we need to record it. We need to account for it, record it in our books, both in the trust set of books as well as the business set of books. Okay. And then you need to check on trust creditors, what we call trust creditors. So like what I've said, money which is in trust belongs to creditors. So for every cent which is in the trust account, it should be traced to a particular creditor or a particular client. That's why we need to always be on point with our bookkeeping. We need to record our books on a monthly basis. This is according to the LPC and according to, not the LPC, according to the Act as well as the rules. So every month, if ever an inspector comes and knocks, they should find the books recorded on a monthly basis. And then one should always have a list of creditors which tie up with money which is in trust. Okay, I'm just going to ask the person with who is not muted to mute, please. Thank you.
May I ask a question? I unmuted to ask a question.
Yes.
I just don't understand the concept of trust creditors, because in my layman, I would say a creditor is someone that I've borrowed money from. Now, under what circumstances would I have creditors to the trust account?
Okay. All right. So the trust account mainly it's created so that money is kept in trust, like it's kept on behalf of our clients. We are keeping money on behalf of our clients. So the main reason why money is put in trust is because we've got an underlying transaction. So say, for instance, we have a seller who is selling his property, and then we've got a purchaser who is willing to sell that property. So those transactions are they are conducted by attorneys, they are conducted by legal practitioners or conveyancers. So in such a case, the money is kept in trust while we wait for the transfer of the property. So we've got banks which are trusting the attorney, which are trusting the conveyancer. So when that money comes, it can't go to our business account. It comes through the trust account because we are keeping it in trust on behalf of our clients, which is the purchaser, the seller, the bank, the estate agent, you see, and also partly our fee, which we would have charged on that transaction. So whatever that comes into a trust account should be on behalf of someone. Okay, so when it comes to fees, where I said fees, where we receive a deposit for our fee, it's not yet our money. You see, we are given a deposit in anticipation that we'll carry out the work according to the instruction of the client. And after we've carried out the work, then that's when we can claim our fee. So that money is kept in the trust account because it's not yet claimable by us. It can't go to our business account. So you understand where, yeah.
My client is my creditor.
Your client is your creditor because the money is not yours. It's for your client's transaction.
And then I saw a rule that says the trust money must never be more than my creditors must never exceed the money in the trust. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly.
Yes, you are saying it correctly. So isn't it when we see money in our trust account, we should relate it to our clients. Like what I've said, to say we should be able to reconcile every money to our clients, which means whenever a client's put in money, we'll record it and say this is belonging to this client. So it's going to mix, it will be various clients, and then we need to keep a register of those various clients. If we get to a point where, say for instance, we have transferred money to another creditor by mistake, you see, and then we end up having more creditors because we've paid another one by mistake, or we have taken fees where fees are not due to us, you see, then we end up having more, sitting with more than what we have in our trust account because we are still owing these creditors, but by mistake we took fees which was not due to us. So they then give a rule that they say your creditors cannot be more than what is in your trust account, because in your trust account, you account only for funds that you have received. If you have not yet received the money, you can't account for it in your trust account. So if a client says to you, I'm going to put 100,000 that is needed for my litigation matter, like if ever they agreed, the parties, and then they say we need to put 100,000 in the trust account, and they do not put that money, you can't record that one as your what? Your trust creditor, because they have not yet deposited the money. So each time you receive the money in the trust account, then you attach it, you record it to a creditor. The reason why we then prepare ledgers is for us to track that money, how it's moving. If we pay a sheriff, we reduce. If we pay, we take our fee, we are reducing. So that at the end of the day, we've got balances that we know this is what we are caring for a particular creditor, each and every creditor. So I don't know if you get it.
Yes, thank you.
I have a question as well.
Yes.
Sorry. If you pay the direct expenses like your sheriffs, your advocates, and your tracing agents, and so on, are you allowed to pay it out of trust after you have already allocated to a matter? Well, when you debit a client and the sheriff, are you allowed to pay the sheriff out of trust? Okay. I know, yeah.
So when you look at our rules, if you look at the rules and the act, what the act says, where we have money in trust, we have money in trust, and that money we are supposed to pay an advocate, or we are supposed to pay a sheriff on behalf of the matter, then we are supposed to pay out of trust because the money is there in the trust account. So the only time that we record it in our business books, it's because the client does not have money that we are holding.
Get it on the client account.
Yes, so then we are advancing the client. We are more of like creating a data on our side, and then we are debiting, and then making sure that whenever we receive money in the trust account or when we invoice, then in our business records, we have recorded those transactions and we can recover our disbursements.
But there's no rule that says you must pay the sheriff out of business and transfer that funds from trust to business to cover your business. Is there a rule like that that says you're not allowed to pay it from trust directly?
No, the rule says that if the money is in the trust account, the rule says
you're allowed to.
pay the sheriff out of the trust account.
Okay.
The money is there.
Okay.
Yes, so you pay, like it says, when you incur disbursements and there's money in the trust account, then you pay out of trust. So you realize in our assignments, we'll come across questions like that, where we have money in the trust account, and then what we are supposed to do is to pay out of trust because the money is in the trust account. There's no need for you to burden yourself by paying out of business unless it's a particular transaction where, say, for instance, in trust, you have been instructed to say between the matters, you have to keep 100,000 in trust. It's to protect the matter, and you can't utilize it to pay any disbursement.
Okay, then you pay it out of business.
Yes, then you can then say if you want to advance, because the thing is that the initiative comes from the practice. The practice is to notify the client to say, oh, I've got a sheriff. For us to move forward with your matter, there's a sheriff to be paid, there's an advocate. Here is a statement, here is an invoice, or here is, can you pay me so that I can pay over? But then if you agree with your client to say, oh, okay, pay over, we'll pay you after probably a week or so, then you are taking your money, you pay on behalf of the client on the basis that they promised you they will pay you.
Okay, thank you very much for answering.
Okay, yes. All right, so then
sorry, another question from me. How do you communicate to the client? Do you have to record these authorizations that you need from them, or you just call them? Because also a practical example, when I bought a house, I've never had a conveyancer asking permission from me that can we now pay the money that your money that's in the trust account, maybe to the bank, to the estate agent.
Okay. All right. So communication with the clients, you find the rules are very specific. They say we are supposed to update our clients. Yeah, we are supposed to account to our clients. We are supposed to tell the client what is happening because the clients can complain. And, you know, the LPC, they entertain those complaints whenever a client complains. And when it comes to the practice itself, so you'd find they've got, I think, notes on their files or at the back, because for you to be able to bill, remember your billing is based on your interaction with your client and the time that you are spending communicating. It can be a letter that you have sent to your client. It can be a telephone call that you have made to your client. So the best way would be for you to record it down so that you can prove it. This day I called you just to say 1, 2, 3. So most of the files you'll find they've got notes. Usually they write on the hardcover, the back or the front, they are writing, this day I called, this day I did that, so that when you come up with your bill, then you are able to prove it. Just the fact that you have written it down, it's proof enough for you to say you can claim a payment out of that, your fee out of that. So you can call. I know most attorneys, like with myself, when I take matters for collection, they tell me a phone call is 90 Rand and emails are probably 120 rands, excluding VAT. So they count the number of emails that they would have sent me or the number of like 15 minutes that they would have called me, and then they come up with their bill and then they send their bill. So that's how they normally do it. And then when it comes to conveyancers, you find with conveyancers, I think they do account, because when you are buying a property, definitely the initial communication probably it's from the estate agent. And then once you are introduced to your conveyancer, they will tell you pay the deposit. And most of them, they would explain to you the procedure and say, okay, now it's time for you to pay the transfer costs plus our fee, and then pay into this particular client. And also they give pro forma invoices. So with the pro forma, they are giving the pro forma to the seller as well as the purchaser. And the moment they tell you as the purchaser to say the property has been transferred, they are now accounting to the seller, because now the seller is the one who sold, and then his share of the money is the one that is going to be used to pay the estate agent. and so forth and so forth. And then you as a purchaser, probably they will account to you to say, okay, this is the money, this is what we paid the purchaser. And then when it comes to the estate agent, they won't tell you because it has got nothing to do with you, but probably they will tell you if ever you give them instructions to invest on the interest to say 5% we paid the LPC, the balance of that we are refunding you, or you are topping up because there's a shortfall, something like that. But they do, the ones that I've dealt with, they do communicate and they give a final statement of account, and then you will see a refund coming your way. If it's a seller, then the seller will see a refund going their way. Okay, so that is our trust creditors. And then business creditors are easy. These are business people or that are owed by the business itself. So we've got like your telecom, when we utilize the phones, your MWebs, when we utilize the emails. We've got, so it's like any normal business that we do come across. And the other thing is that, like what we have said, like your sheriffs, your advocates, if you look at them, they are not your business creditors. They are your clients' creditors. So when it comes to accounting for VAT, one has to be careful on how they account for VAT, because some of this VAT that the firms collect, it's more of like clients' VAT. So you need to have a look at that. What I'm going to do now is I'll move a little bit faster so that we can look at how to record transactions in a cash book, because we are now left with 20 minutes. Okay, so you can have a look at the accounting records, the system, how we record. Like I told you, we come from source documents. Our source documents, these are like our bank statements, our receipt books, our invoices, into our books of prime entry, like your cash book, like your fee ledger. And then we record our ledgers, and then we come to our trial balance, and then we do any adjustments that we feel like we made a mistake, we adjust, and then we prepare our financial statements. Okay, that's our cycle. And here is our example. Let me try to enlarge it. Yes. So we are supposed to record these transactions in a, yes.
I think you just need to go full screen. You are not full screen yet. That's why you are able to do that. There's this thing, I don't know how to, at the bottom of it is there next to your, what is this?
This one?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay. All right, so, okay, I'm now on full screen, which I might need to exit soon. We need to record these following transactions in a trust cash book and business cash book, and we are supposed to balance it off. Hopefully we'll be able to cover a few transactions. Okay, so on 1 August 2022, we had an opening balance of 5,000, which was a debit balance. So we need to record this opening balance in our trust cash book. What I am going to do is that I need to come up with the, I'm going to use an already kind of like recorded template. And with that template, we are just going to, I hope you'll be able, I can share it with you if ever you need to utilize it in the future. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unshare, I'll unshare our one screen. And then I'm going to share the one that then shows the Excel, where we are sharing Excel and our question. Let's see. Okay, are you able to see side by side? They are side by side. Are you able to see this?
Yeah, though it's not full. I don't think the T accounts is fully showing on the right-hand side.
All right, let me try to drag because the most important thing is the T account. So I'm just gonna make it large. Can you see it now? So this is our T account. So our cash book, this is how our cash book looks like. So we've got a left side, we've got a right side. And then on the left side, we've got our receipts, and it's basically what we have received in the cash book that goes to our left side. And what we have paid, what we are paying out of the trust account or the business account, it goes to the right side. So it's easy. It's receipts and payments. They are separated. We do not mix them on our T accounts. Okay, and our cash books are more of like a mirror, like of late, they are more of like a mirror of the bank statement. Or if you have a system, an accounting system, and say, for instance, you've got clients that come in and pay and they put in money, then some cash books are real time. So whenever a receipt, they are notified of a payment, it automatically records. Whenever a client brings in cash, automatically it's recorded, even if the cash has not yet been deposited at the bank. So you'd find that one, it's real time. Then here and there, now and again, there will be a need to reconcile the cash book and the bank statement so that they do correspond. So that reconciliation is very critical because the auditors always look at it and they report to the LPC if ever they note any anomalies. Okay, so our first transaction says we've got an opening balance on the 1st of August. So on our cash book, it's on the debit side. The receipt side is the debit side. The payment side is the credit side. So our date is 1 August. So we should always ensure that we record our transactions in full, record the date, and then the description. The description, it's based on the ledger account that we are going to post. Okay, so but this one, since it's an opening balance, so you would find in our trust account, if we are given an opening balance, normally we are told whose money is it. So if we've got an opening balance of 5,000, normally they would then tell us to say the 5,000 belongs to client so and so that when we record in the opening balance of that client, we show that there's 5,000 that belongs to the client, then we can balance. But anyways, in this case, we are more interested in recording the cash book. I'm just going to show you the cash book. It was not specified which client so that we can complete the double entry. Okay, so this is how we record our opening balance on the debit side. And then transaction number 2, it's Mr. Govender deposited 50,000 into the trust account for a litigation matter. So it's on 2 August 2022. We record our date, 2 August 2022. And then, so I said our description relates to the account. So our account here, it's our trust creditor, and which one? It's Mr. Govender. So usually what would happen is that we are told the matter is for Mr. Govender and so and so. So when we record, we make sure that we probably put a stroke and put the name of the other party to the client. And the money which was deposited, which is a receipt into the trust account, is 50,000. So this is how we record our trust cash book. And for us to do the double entry, remember I told you about the double entry, we have to also record this transaction. It's recorded twice. 1, we have received it. 2, we are owing Mr. Govender. So which means we start creating ledgers for our trust creditors. Remember, we said everything in trust should match up with your creditor. So as it happens, you should also record so that you can always match the transactions and you do not miss anything. So in this case, we record the same transaction, 2 August. Now it's on our credit side because it's a creditor. It's our creditor. So we are crediting him because the firm is owing him for money which is in the trust account. So our description, it becomes, it's our bank account. We assume we've got one bank account and our amount 50,000. So in this case, what I've done, I have not recorded the folios. So what happens with the folios is that they guide you from one transaction to the other. So say, for instance, in this case, we want to record folios, or usually our folios are our reference numbers. If it was a check number or if it was a receipt number, then we would put the receipt number into our folio. In this case, say for instance, our receipt number was A1. So we record A1 there. And then when we go to our second entry, we show that it's what? A1. So that when you match them, when they correspond, we've got a debit and a credit. If you want to trace them, you'll be able to see that I've recorded both sides. So that's the major thing with the folios. So if you feel like you confuse the whole thing, you can record using folios so that you link A, B, C, D, E, F, G to your transaction so that they link with each other and you make sure everything has been recorded. Okay, in the interest of time, let me move on. And then for August 2022, SAPS paid 40,000 into our trust account on behalf of Mr. Maluleke. So Mr. Maluleke had a matter with SAPS. Now they are paying 40,000. Maybe it was litigation against the police. Then we record it. It's a receipt. We are receiving money in our trust account. So it's a receipt. And it's SAPS against Mr. Maluleke. That. So if this one is our folio 2, then it will be A2. And how much did we receive? 40,000, like that. So that's how we record our cash book. And for this particular transaction, we need to do the double entry. How do we do the double entry? We need to then, I'm just going to delete, so I'm using an existing template. So we need to record these transactions on Mr. Maluleke's ledger. So when we look at Mr. Maluleke's ledger, we put our date is a creditor. So we are going to credit him. So it's easy. It's a debtor, we debit him. It's a creditor, we credit him. You see? So that's the easier part about the accounting principles. And it's in our bank account. And how much? It's folio A2.
Sorry, just quickly, I thought you would say in the description is in our trust account, not our bank account.
Yeah, this is our trust, like this is our trust
okay.
records.
All right. Cool.
We are dealing with trust records. And then, yeah, if you want to put trust bank account, you can put, if you want to put Nedbank trust account, you can put, some people have got several trust accounts. So you can specify its trust account number 1, number 2, number 3. So for ease of reference, as long as we can see the money is also sitting in the trust account. So you can specify that way. Okay. And then on the 8th of August, we paid Advocate Van Tonde 10,000 on the Govender matter. You see? So we are now paying. So whatever that happens with our money in the bank account, we also do that in the cash book. So we are paying, we pay out of the cash book. So it's a mirror of our transactions in the cash book. In the bank account. It's a mirror of transactions in our bank account. So now we are paying, we go to the payment side. Okay, I have put colors so that it becomes easier for you guys, but you don't have to do colors. 8 August 2022, and then we are told that we are paying an advocate for the Govender matter. So our Govender Let me be nice and call him Mr. Govender. And then in this case, it's we are paying Advocate Vantonde. Okay, this is just for us to be able to track. So on our folio, this is our third transaction. So it's A3. And then the amount that we paid, that's 10,000. That's how we record our cash book. And then to do the double entry for this, then we come. So you can copy the transactions, or you can come and enter them afresh, or you can copy them to make it faster for you, because the descriptions and everything, it's only the description that is usually different. So it's our ledger from Mr. Govender, and it's money in our trust account, and we are paying Advocate and Tonje like that. And how much are we paying? 10,000. You see? So we are keeping track. The idea with the ledger is that it keeps track. It shows us we had 50, but now we've paid 10. So when we balance off, we are able to say we are left with 40,000. And also when we go to our cash book, it will tell us the same scenario, because we've taken out our amount in the cash book or in the bank account is reduced because we've paid out. Okay, and then 12th August, we paid Mr. Maluleka 30,000 as final settlement for his matter. So we start by recording in our cash book. It's 12th August 2022. So it's Mr. Maluleka. So it's our final settlement. So it's our A4. How much are we paying? 30,000. So we've paid it, and this is our cash book. We also show the payment. And then as double entry, we come to the ledger of Mr. Maluleka. We also show that whatever that we owed him in trust is reduced because we have paid him. The amount is 30,000, like that. And then we are told that on the 25th of August, we transferred our fees of 15,000 from the Govender matter. So we are doing our fee transfer. Today, I'm just going to show you how to record in the cash books, in the trust cash book. But there is more to a fee transfer, because we are supposed to, first of all, record our fee. Our business side, we record our fee. So we come up with an invoice, we record our fee. Then when we transfer, we show the trust transfers. And when we receive it in business, we show the business receipt of the same money. And also then it would mean we are reducing what the client is owing us on the business side. Okay, so, but today I'm just going to show you how to record in the trust account, because our time is gone. So in this case, it's Mr. Govender. And this is our fees. And let's call it A5. And our fee of 15,000, just like that. Okay, so when you come to the ledger, you do the same. We have credited that side, then we come this side. So 25 August, we debit. Oh, fees, because it's Mr. Govender's account. Okay, and also remember to record the folios if you want to keep on recording the folios. And we are told 25 August, we paid Sheriff Pretoria 250 out of the Maluleke matter. So because we've got money in the trust account, there's no need for us to take our own money. So we can then pay the sheriff out of trust because the money is there. And according to the rules, when money is in trust, we should pay out of trust. So this is our sheriff. Okay, and then we go to Maluleka. We record that transaction. Okay, and then I think, yeah, we have 3 more transactions and then we can balance off. 25 August, we transferred our fees of 9,750 from the Maluleke matter. So now we are taking our fee from the Maluleke matter. So I'm going to copy just to speed up. $9,750. Okay, so we come to the Maluleke ledger. We also record the transaction. Okay, 9,750. So if you can have a look at Maluleke, if we are balancing off, you can see we received 40,000. And if you can check on the debit side, we have paid the 40 and we don't have any balance. So with our trust account, it's the same thing because we're doing the double entry. So we don't owe him anything, the money is paid up. And then we are told that we receive interest in the amount of 520. So it's a receipt. It's a receipt in the trust account. We are told that this is our trust account. So interest in a trust account belongs to the fund. The fund. So we receive it, and the fund allows that if bank charges are less than interest, then you can deduct the bank charges. So the practitioner benefits in that the bank charges don't become their liability. Okay, so we record the interest in the trust account. So for the interest, there's a ledger that we are supposed to also record. It's called the interest ledger. I'm just going to copy a template of the T account. I'm going to copy a template of the T account so that I can show you how to record the interest. Okay. So normally we just reference it to the legal practice fund. Legal practice, LPPF practitioners fund. I know there's an P again. Which are LPFF legal practice fidelity fund. Sorry. Fidelity, yeah, like that. So whenever we receive interest in the trust account, then the double entry goes to the fund's account because we are going to pay it over to the fund. That one, August 2022. And the description is our trust account. It was received in our trust account. And how much was received? 520, like that. So it goes there. And then we go back to our cash book. We've recorded it. It's A8. And then the last transaction, we paid bank charges in the amount of 325. So this is a payment. So it comes to the payment side. Because we are allowed to we are allowed to offset if interest is higher. If interest is less, then one has to put money in the trust account so that it covers the bank charges. So in this case, because it's higher, we are allowed to offset. So we come, we record and it's our bank charge. Yes. And it's 324. So in this case, when we balance off, so if we are to balance off our cash book, we look at we come up with the totals. So usually with our trust account, the debit side should be higher, should always be higher. So what we do is that we add up the debit side, we get our total, and then we come to our credit side, which is the payments that we have made. We add them up. So if you can see, our credit side has got a lower balance. So what we do is that we need to make it equal with the credit, but that's how we balance it off. So the difference between the two, it's 30,196. So what we do is that we come on our balance that we're going to carry forward. We show that we've got 30,196 in the trust account. See, like that. So that is the balance that we are going to carry forward to September. And if we come back to our transactions, we also need to balance them off. So if you can look, the credit side is supposed to always be bigger than the debit side. Just like the cash book, it's the debit, which is bigger. With the creditors, they are creditors, so the credit side should be bigger. In this case, there's 50,000 and we paid 25,000 worth of payments. So the difference between the two becomes our balance that we are carrying forward. So on 31 August 2022, we have our balance that we are carrying forward of how much? 25,000. And then if you can have a look at them, then we are balanced off. This side has got 50, that side has got 50. So we are balanced off. This is what we are going to start with in September. 1 September, we'll have an opening balance. So if we are continuing with our recording, 1 September, we are now having an opening balance of 25,000 in the matter of Govender. So that's how we record our transactions. And then in the matter of Maluleke, so you check the credit side is 40, and then you check the debit side is 40. So if you balance them off, you can see it's paid up. There's nothing in the trust account, so it has got zeros. And then when it comes to the legal practice fund, we received interest 520, and bank charges was 324. So if we are to pay over, if we are told to pay over in September, so our balance carried forward that we'll need to pay over would be the difference between the two, which is, I'll compute it here, 520 minus 324, and then we've got 196, just like that. So that is how we balance off. This is how we balance off. And then when we carry forward, we come 1 September, we are now carrying forward the balance, which becomes our opening balance in September, because we haven't paid the fund. So we are owing them 196. And this 196, it's in the trust account. So that's how we account for our transactions in the cash book as well as the ledger. And in our assignment one, we need to account for the transactions in the cash book. So I hope I was able to present this and you could understand it. And I can see we are like 7 minutes past. I am going to unshare and then check if we've got any questions, then we can call it a day.
Will there be another webinar?
Yeah, there's going to be 2 more webinars because the assignment 2 is a bit heavy, so we need to introduce the topics in assignment 2. So for assignment 1, we are done. I can share the question, or I can share the answer, so that you can practice question and answer, so that you can practice, because this is basically what is going to come in our assignment 1, just to record in our cash book.
So if you miss, you do all other transactions right, but then you just miss one at the bottom, so you've got the answer all wrong, or do you mark step by step?
We mark step by step. Each transaction has got its mark. So if you do your debit correct, we mark. Your credit side correct, we mark. So they are independent. So if you skip 2 transactions, then you lose those 2 marks. It's only that when we go further, like when we go into our financials, then you see your things would be so wrong. Like when you go on your trial balance, your trial balance would be wrong. So your balances that you're carrying forward would be kind of like wrong. So that's where you will kind of like then lose marks going there. But when it comes to our cash book, we look at every entry that we are posting. It can be that we are giving half mark for a debit, half mark for a credit. And then if you miss one, then you are missing that half mark.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, I've got to run.
Okay, thank you so much, Bukas. Thank you, guys. Any other questions, or we can call it a day?
Sorry, I have one question. Where can we find the slides that you were using and the spreadsheet?
Okay, the slides, what I will do is that I will share them on the platform tomorrow. I'll share them tomorrow on the platform. And then at the same time, Grace will share the webinar. We'll share with the webinar with you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best in assignment 1, and we'll meet again in webinar 2. But any questions, please post on the forum.